Hi everyone, welcome to Spark Spread. So back in January, I got really excited about the Cybertruck. So excited that I actually pre-ordered 2 of them. For just a $100 pre-order, Tesla lets you lock in the price of full self-driving at the current rate. In June, Elon announced that the FSD price would increase beginning on July 1st. So I added 13 reservations to my order. I had developed a model by this point, and I became convinced that if robotaxis became viable, they had the potential to provide a high level of cash flow. In October, Elon announced another FSD price increase, so I added 6 more reservations, bringing the total to 21. Now, I have to admit that on the surface, it sounds absurd to say that I have 21 Cybertruck reservations. So with this video, I want to walk through the logic of why I did it, and paint a picture of what the future could look like if Tesla solves autonomy. So my underlying rationale is that reservations are a free option on autonomy. For those of you who maybe aren't as familiar with options, options are a financial derivative which give users access to an uncertain upside. In stocks, a call option gives the option holder the right, but not the obligation, to purchase the stock at a set price. There are many other nuances to options that we won't go into here, but the analogy works in my mind. Reservation holders who opt for FSD lock in the price of their reservation, and they have the right but not the obligation to exercise their option, meaning take delivery, if Tesla truly does solve autonomy. Now, why do I say it is a free option? Well, I think it's a free option because it's refundable. If in a year or 2 when my Cybertrucks are actually available to purchase and take delivery, Tesla has not solved autonomy, and it doesn't look like they're actually close to doing so, then I can simply cancel my orders and get a full refund of the $100 per vehicle reservation price. On the other hand, if robotaxis are viable, then I will have locked in FSD at prices ranging from $6,000 to $8,000. Now, I will of course have to buy the full Cybertruck, not just the full self-driving option, if I want to take advantage of the financial benefits of FSD. But I've done some modeling, and I estimate a robotaxi would be capable of generating cash flows to the owner of around $15,000 to $25,000 per vehicle per year. So in my mind, it would be a good investment to pay for the purchase price in order to have access to those recurring cash flows. So we're talking about a payback period of between 3 to 5 years and a useful life of around 10 years. So from a net present value perspective, the $100 purchase price to lock in access to full self-driving and all the cash flows those vehicles could generate is a very attractive financial proposition. So one robotaxi certainly seems like it would be a good investment, and I could manage that out of my own home. I'd probably start off this way just to make sure the economics make sense and pan out the way that I'm expecting they would. But why did I have 21? With a fleet of 21, I'd have to be parking them on my street and running extension cords out to all the vehicles to make that work, and I don't think my neighbors would appreciate that too much. So I would need a larger site somewhere to charge the vehicles, to clean them, and to manage the fleet remotely. So I've done some detailed financial modeling around the costs of owning and operating a fleet this large, and the largest single expense item is the cost of electricity. And I know from my energy background that the cheapest source of electricity is solar. So since I already need to own some land to clean the vehicles, to charge the vehicles, I might as well make it a slightly larger piece of land and add in some solar panels to minimize my operating costs going forward. I've done some financial modeling on the solar resource needed to support a highly utilized robotaxi, and by my math, and in Michigan, which does not have great solar resource, I estimate that I would need a little over 11 kilowatts per robotaxi. So for a fleet of 21, I would actually need around 250 kilowatts of solar capacity. This means I would need 2 to 4 acres of solar panels in order to fully charge my robotaxi fleet with clean, renewable energy from the sun. I would also probably need some stationary storage in order to capture the production that occurs when the robotaxi fleet is not available, and this would actually provide another source of potential revenue, as I was able to provide grid services from the storage and from the solar array. I've also received interest from some people who would like me to operate the robotaxis for them so that they wouldn't have to invest in all the infrastructure that I've outlined here. And that's something that I would certainly be interested in considering as well. Now, if all this comes together in the way that I'm envisioning, then I'll be able to provide for a great future for my family, a high quality of life, and I'll also be providing clean and cheap transportation to my local community, and that's something I can feel pretty happy about. I've had a lot of people tell me that reserving 21 Cybertrucks is a dumb idea, because Tesla's never going to solve full autonomy. A lot of people express concerns over the hardware suite, saying you need LiDAR or better cameras or a better processing unit in order to truly solve autonomy. Other people have said that even if Tesla could solve autonomy, regulations would lag, so it would be impossible to have robotaxis as an economic business model before 2030 or so. I've even had one person tell me that Tesla would never catch Waymo because Tesla's door handles are just way too complicated for consumers to figure out. Now, I personally disagree with all these views. I think Tesla is likely to solve autonomy and that regulations will follow sometime within the next 5 years or so. I've been interested in artificial intelligence for the last 5 years or so, and I've been watching the progress of applications like AlphaGo and GPT-3. These programs have been able to handle tasks typically reserved for humans, and they've been doing them at superhuman levels, much faster than people thought possible. And this is decades ahead of when many people predicted it would occur. I think we're in a similar state right now with autonomy, where you have naysayers saying that it will take decades for the technology to truly get this good. But I think they're thinking in a linear scale. But the rate of progress on AI is on an exponential scale, which means it can be very difficult to conceptualize how quickly progress can be made on complex problems like full autonomy. So I personally remain very bullish on robotaxis. I think Tesla will solve the autonomy problem within the next 5 years, and that we will see regulations follow. Now, I'm not saying this will happen, but if it does, I'm going to feel pretty good about having my full self-driving price locked in on 21 robotaxis. And if it doesn't, no harm done. Like I said earlier, this is a free option, so my worst case scenario is just that I get a refund of my deposits in a couple years. And that's why I reserved 21 Cybertrucks. I'd like to say a huge thank you to our newest megawatt sponsor, Cookie UK, and to all of our patrons. If you'd like to support SparkSpread, please check us out on Patreon. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Matt Smith, and this is SparkSpread.